Hello there, welcome to another My Hair Transplant XP video. On this one I just wanted to go over my experience on just my trip out to Turkey where I had the procedure done and their day off and what happened and yeah, what you can probably expect and maybe one or two things that I may have done differently. So here we go. Firstly, let me just show off what my hair looks like now. Obviously, I've got my introductory video where I showed what my hairline used to look like. It's an aggressive Norwood 3, but this is it now. See, I've kind of styled it a bit drier today. That's the hairline, just like that. Pretty natural looking, not much product in it, I swear. And that would be the crown as well. Is a little bit thinner there. I do tend to put in a little bit of dry shampoo there just to top it up, just to increase that density a little bit. It's not too bad, but yeah, definitely helps having the top up. So yeah, let's get into it. So this was on March the 7th, 2020. So obviously I was quite lucky in the sense that I managed to get in there just before COVID, and I actually managed to grow my hair and go through the whole ugly duckling phase all throughout COVID. So yeah, I actually came out of COVID with a new hairline. I'm known to just a close circle of people. Not many people knew about it, so yeah, that was quite lucky in that sense. So yeah, flew out to Turkey, and like a lot of the services there, pretty much all of them, in fact, it's a customer service package essentially. So you only really see it marketed like that. I in the preparation for it, I would always kind of look for like before and after pictures of people who had actually grown their hair out after like a year or so, seeing the results from there. Like the customer service thing wasn't like a big issue for me, but it was nice. As part of the package deal, I got put in a 4-star hotel. It might have even been five, I can't remember. I didn't really use the facilities that much, as I wanted to kind of treat it like a little bit of a holiday trip away as well. There was an airport pickup that took you straight to the hotel. There would be a shuttle taxi type thing that would take myself and other people who were going to the same clinic in my hotel to and from the clinic. So you'd kind of go in there the day before just to have a blood test and kind of talk over a few things, redraw a hairline if need to. And one or two people went in and saw their doctors just to kind of summarize their procedure, which I did the day of. So again, day of the procedure, I get my transport to the clinic, and then yeah, got all nice and settled. So obviously there, was sat in the waiting room for a little while. Other people had their kind of final consultations, and then I went in and saw my doctor, who is he was a ABHRS accredited doctor. So he went in not long before my procedure and just kind of redrew the hairline. Of course, I showed you earlier, it was more of like a natural hairline I wanted to go for. I didn't really bring the hairline forward to what it was before or when I actually had existing hair. I'd already planned to have a natural looking hairline. I didn't want to go for anything too unrealistic. And then we went over the rest of the hair restoration plan, like what kind of medication you're going to be taking afterwards, and little things like that, and just things with the aftercare, how long it would take, when he'd be in to do the incisions. So I selected the package where he he being the doctor wasn't there for the whole entire time. He did oversee it and he did the incisions and the transplantation, but as for the extraction of the hair follicles, I'll get into it. But he just had his technicians do that, which was fine by me. I'd already researched this clinic a lot. Yeah, after I'd seen my doctor, I ended up going into the waiting room, and yeah, the photographer takes you round and takes the before pictures. So yeah, it makes you look all pretty. I chose to shave my head for the procedure as well. Apparently, you don't have to do that, but I already had a shaved head beforehand anyway, just to kind of embrace the baldness and just see how I felt in that stage. before the procedure, I kind of had a shaven head for about 6 months just before I actually took the plunge. Took the before pictures, sat back down, and just as we were about to get ready to go in, one of their representatives, who was their translator as well, spoke in English. It was just me and another guy who was sat in this waiting room. Yeah, he went in first and was like, okay, yeah, you can have this mild sedative. He didn't question it. He just took it, walked into his waiting room, and he said the same to me. And I just went, okay, well, sorry, buddy, what is this mild sedative? And he was just like, oh yeah, no, it's just a little bit of Xanax, just a little bit of Xanax. It was my first time trying it. I'd heard a lot about it from like Americans. Apparently they got a bit addicted to it over there. So yeah, it was all fine by me. I took it into the room with me, and then ended up taking it just before I went in, just with some water, just before sitting down for the extraction process. Yeah, so this is where you go in, you meet the technicians, and they kind of go over how they want to do the procedure. For me, I was told, you know, once the extraction process was done, you can perhaps help yourself to some of their food. They showed me their menu. I opted not to. I just wanted to kind of get it over and done with, and then they say, oh, you can use a TV for Netflix and stuff like that. That was fine by me. Of course, for the extraction process though, my head was literally face down in this like massage table type thing, and this is when they apply the anesthetic. So obviously this is local anesthetic. You don't get put under. You can pay like 200 euros or more. That was what it that's what it cost when I went there. Of course it might even be more now. Obviously inflation, cost of lives getting everyone, but I opted just for the normal local anesthetic, which obviously just numbs the area so you don't feel any pain once the procedure gets underway. However, the injections themselves absolutely sucked for me. I would compare it to a type of pain you'd have when you're getting a tattoo, if you've got one, and but it's like that type of needle pain but under your skin. I travelled out to Turkey alone, so at this point I've got my head completely face down on a massage type table again. Heading just face down. They applied the anesthetic. There was quite a lot of injections, and the technicians, who were kind of like broken English type thing, were always like pain. Obviously yes, but I wanted to be a bit brave about it, and I was just like, no, it's fine, But honestly, the injections really did suck. So if you did fancy sparing that £200 odd or euro, then it might actually be worth it. Yeah, once they do all the injections, obviously they go all around the donor area where they're looking to extract your grafts for the FUE, short for follicular unit extraction procedure, and they do the transplanted area as well. So they go all over the top of your head, and then they inject water inside and under the skin as well, just to help spread that anesthetic around. And it was a really odd feeling, because I ended up feeling very aware that I was in a foreign country by myself with people injecting stuff, essentially what felt like inside my head. I almost felt like I was going to have a panic attack. I'm not going to lie, like it really dawned on me that I was in a foreign country by myself, people just injecting stuff into my head, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing here? I really wanted to just get up and leave. Thankfully the Xanax kicked in and I was very mellow from there. So I highly recommend taking it, unless you've got someone there with you for the day of your procedure. So yeah, once the local anaesthetic was all done and dusted, the Xanax had kicked in. They obviously then started to extract the grafts. Obviously, it was planned to then be 4,000 grafts at that point, 1,000 in the crown, odd, like 500 odd in the mid scalp, just to kind of boost that density a bit, and then the rest just went on the frontal hairline with the natural look as well. They used a micro motor punch to then extract the grafts out. Maybe I would have done this differently had I had the chance to do it again, because with a micro motor punch you're more likely to damage the grafts that they used to take. Like, it's very quick and very intense. You might just end up damaging the grafts, and what you'll find is maybe the technicians take more grafts than they actually need, as opposed to like being able to manually literally just take them out with like a sharp knife, like one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. But yeah, that's just something to think about. Again, like you could end up having someone take 5,000 grafts when you only need 4,000, and you've got 1,000 damaged grafts which you can't use ever again. Of course, like you've only got a certain amount you can use in your donor area before you get over harvested. And as you can see, I don't really have any scarring from my donor area, so I guess I got quite lucky there. The technicians were very, very good, and managed to get the extraction done within about 3.5 hours it was, and very painless. Didn't feel a thing, even though you're having holes literally drilled into your head. Literally just felt like a head massage. It was a weird sensation. Like you can feel the micromotor punch essentially massaging your head, but you just can't feel any pain whatsoever. Of course, now once the extraction process was done, they managed to sit me up. You can see your the grafts that they've extracted all in the solution and stuff. You can go over like what kind of grafts they've taken out. Obviously, a hair graft can have either 4 hairs, 3 hairs, 2 hairs, or just the one, and you can kind of get an idea of where they're looking to allocate those grafts as to where they would put those grafts on your head. Obviously, that will go into a conversation with your doctor again, like even before the procedure. You can reaffirm that again once the transplantation process is about to happen. I would imagine, at best guess, most doctors would just put the thicker hair grafts, i.e. the ones with more hairs, probably in the crown because it's just harder to keep that density there. I guess grafts with like 2 or 3 like in the mid scalp, and then you'd use most of the singular grafts probably on the frontal hairline just to maintain that natural look, or otherwise it can just look a bit pluggy, for lack of a better word, and just not so natural, pardon me. And yeah, so the doctor then started making the incisions on top of my head. Again, like I didn't feel anything. It just felt like someone was just putting a little bit of pressure on my head, like no pain whatsoever. There was one point, obviously with the incisions, there was a bit of blood drawn, and then a bit of blood just came like down my eye, but yeah, luckily the Xanax meant like it just didn't bother me whatsoever, even though, again, I'm in a foreign country by myself and there's just blood being drawn from my head. Yeah, it was a bit surreal, but me and the doctor were talking throughout. He had good English, and at this point I had Netflix on while being able to sit up and actually watch it, and I decided to put The Walking Dead on. They didn't have The Walking Dead in the UK on Netflix. I kind of picked up this show, put it down, and then I just remember it being a really slow watch, really drawn out, and okay, I thought, okay, what else better to sit through something where I know I'm going to be probably focused and looking to watch it, and I know it's just going to pass time by virtue of it being like a hard slow watch. So I had that on in the background. Doctor's made 4,000 incisions, and then he just starts implanting the hairs, and again, a weird sensation. It felt like he was just putting it in one spot the whole time. Again, like the local anesthetic for me had completely numbed the top of my head, like of any real sensation. It just felt like someone was just like tapping my head a little bit each time, even less than that, to be honest. Like, again, very weird, but oddly very comfortable as well. I don't know how much Xanax tax I can put on that though. And then yeah, after about 3.5-4 hours of that, I was all done. I had a fair bit of swelling, as you see in another video of mine, and yeah, you kind of just go downstairs, you talk with technicians and the doctor a little bit, just, you know, that casual small talk, and see how happy he is with it. You can kind of see what they've done. Either give you a mirror, you just go on your phone, standard, and yeah, you can kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like, even though when it's first done, it just looks like an open wound on the top of your head, to be honest. It looks very kind of horror filmy, kind of gory. And then you kind of go downstairs, you go in a room, they give you like a care package of like drugs, again, not the good kind, headband to kind of limit the swelling, you just wear that over the top. They give you a hat which you can wear outside, which doesn't put any pressure on your head, it just kind of goes around the top. I don't have a picture of me wearing it because yeah, it's very unflattering, but it is pretty safe. And they give you their own, I think they give you 2 neck pillows. They gave me 2 neck pillows anyway. So yeah, and then they kind of try and sell you some of their products. Did take some of their finasteride, which I want to talk about in another video, purely because it was 5 milligrams per tablet in their packets, which cost the same as the 1 milligram tablets here where I am in the UK. So it is a nice little money saving trick there if you were to microdose those 5 mg tablets. And yeah, I ended up getting the transport back to the hotel room. One of the other guys who had a procedure at the same day as me got in the same transport as me, and managed to be really unlucky, hit his head just on the roof of the car as he was getting in, and knocked out half of his hair transplant. So yeah, please be careful of that, or when you're getting on the plane on the way home, because, or just in general, because they can't reverse that. It's once you've done that damage, it's done. Like, you may not even have enough hairs in your donor area to put that many grafts back in, even if you were offered that procedure again, even though it's your mistake. So yeah, you got to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. You don't really have much protection other than the medication that they give you. So obviously I got to my hotel room. It looked very much like this, and it was very sore on the first night sleeping. Very sore and very itchy straight away. Very, very itchy. You've got to have self-control not to like try and touch the top of your open wound head. Yeah, good luck sleeping with a neck pillow. But again, got a tip for that in the other video, which I've uploaded with the post 2 weeks after my procedure. But yeah, that was my experience in Turkey. Again, the transport back to the airport was very smooth, very good. Got the flight like 2 days later. Managed to go around, see some sights in Istanbul, wearing my very unflattering hat. And yeah, try and make sure you don't look like too much of a tourist, because spoiler alert, the taxi drivers will fleece you. But yeah, that's all I got to say for like my experience in Turkey, the day of the procedure. Yeah, another hair transplant XP video. Like and subscribe if you want. Comment with any questions again if you want. I'll be back soon for more videos. Peace.